The Dyatlov Pass incident remains one of the most perplexing mysteries in modern history, which took place in the Ural Mountains of Russia in 1959, leading to the deaths of 9 students. So together, let's uncover the real cause of the deaths of the 9 students, who are believed to have been attacked by a monster. In January 1959, a group of 9 hikers set out on an expedition to the Ural Mountains, led by Igor Dyatlov. For those who may not know, Igor Dyatlov was born on January 13, 1936, in the Soviet Union. He was a talented and ambitious young man with a passion for mountaineering and outdoor exploration, and he studied radio engineering at the Ural Polytechnic Institute in Russia. Each member of the group had experience when it came to hitchhiking, which is why they were confident they could withstand the intense cold during that time. However, that adventure tragically ended in disaster when they failed to reach their intended destination and were reported missing. After 10 days, the Soviet government immediately sent a search and rescue team to find them in the said mountain. The rescuers were shocked by what they found. 5 students were lying lifeless, discovered not far from their tent. What was puzzling was that the group's tent was torn apart, as if by a monster, which is why this event has since been dubbed the Dyatlov Pass or Devil's Pass incident. What did the rescuers find? When the rescuers found the students' bodies, some had their clothes torn apart, 1 was found naked, and 2 were discovered near a campfire, showing burn marks on their hands. It's heartbreaking to think that no evidence or clue was found to explain what really happened to the 9 students. 3 months later, the bodies of the remaining 4 students were found. 1 had a crushed chest, another had no tongue, and the other 2 had fractured skulls. According to the rescuers, their hair had turned gray, and their bodies had an orange hue. That's why many are asking, who is responsible for the horrifying fate of the innocent students? The Soviet government immediately launched an investigation to determine the real cause, but on the other hand, they quickly closed the case, stating that the students' deaths were due to the low temperatures at the time. What's even worse is that the Soviet government did not make the results of their investigation public. However, this didn't last long because after the Freedom of Information Act was passed, they were forced to release the documents that contained shocking details that we still cannot explain. According to the documents, the cause of death was radiation exposure, which could lead to various illnesses such as cancer and cardiovascular disorders. According to local accounts, they claim to have seen an unusual light on the day of the students' deaths. Some theories suggest that the students may have been killed by hunters in the area, but realistically, this is impossible because no evidence was found apart from the 9 students. Another theory proposes that an avalanche could have been the cause of their deaths, which may have triggered panic among the students and resulted in the destruction of their tent. However, the terrain and weather conditions at the time of the incident raised doubts about this theory, as there was no evidence to support it. But one scientifically based theory, and perhaps the most intriguing, points to a potential cause of the students' demise. Isn't it true that sometimes when we visit a place, we feel a heavy sense of unease, as if something bad is about to happen, which causes us to feel fear? According to scientists, this phenomenon is linked to infrasound, which refers to sound waves with frequencies below the lower limit of human hearing, typically below 20 Hz. And once we reach this level, it affects the human brain, causing us to feel uneasy and fearful about a place or an object. In fact, a test was conducted on nearly 100 people to prove this theory, where they were exposed to infrasound. 22% of the participants experienced feelings of sadness, fear, and various other emotions. Since infrasound is typically caused by large phenomena such as weather patterns, geological activity, or industrial machinery, this theory suggests that strong gusts of wind may have been created, accompanied by echoes from that time. When the students heard this, they likely felt intense fear, which caused them to flee from the tent. This explains why their bodies were found far from the tent, and why the tent itself was severely damaged. Even the last 4 students found were believed to have undergone a natural mummification process due to prolonged exposure to the extreme cold. Whatever the story or true reason behind the deaths of the 9 students may be, the infrasound theory seems to be the closest explanation linked to their demise. To this day, no one really knows the true story or the reason for their deaths. There may be theories, but none of them have solid evidence to support them. So, what do you think was the real cause behind the deaths of the 9 students? Comment down below